Hey guys, welcome to my April TBR. Our snow was just about gone here this morning, and now we are having a snowstorm. So, while I'm going to be talking about my April TBR and reading spring books and being excited about that, there's part of me that's just like, it's still winter, but it shouldn't last too long. Honestly, by the time April comes, it'll probably be gone, hopefully. So I'm going to share my April TBR plus a few fun plans that I have for April, and then wrap up 3 books that I've finished this last week since my last video. I feel like because I'm sharing my April TBR, I should be wrapping up all my March must-reads. The snow is just swirling in front of my window. Anyway, and little bits we've got an overhang of snow and they kind of keep falling down. Anyway, I feel like I should be wrapping up all my March reads, but I actually still have 5 days left in March to read, or 4.5 or something. So I'm not done Anna the Island, but I'm close. I'll be sharing that in my next wrap up. And I have a couple other books that are on the go that I'll probably share in my next wrap up. But at the end of this video, I'll share 3 books. So where do we start? Let's look at my notes here so I don't forget any of the reading challenges and things I'm doing. First of all, before today, I was doing some spring cleaning this week, as one does. I also put away all our winter stuff. And I also did some spring cleaning of my book wish list, and I just want to highly recommend this to anyone. If you have an Amazon wish list or something, go through it. I had books on there that I already owned, books that I had no desire to read, and it felt like a lot of the books on my list were not books that I would normally care about anymore. They were just books older me, actually younger me, but past me was more interested in. Highly recommend doing that. One of the things I want to be doing in April is creating a daily short here on YouTube. These might be vlogs, they might be library hauls, they might be some kind of book list, I'm not sure. I'm going to shoot to do it every single day, but or maybe I should say, mentally for me, maybe I should say almost every day in April. That way if I miss a day, I'm not like, oh, I didn't do it every day, so I can't do it. Maybe I should say almost every day. That way if I miss one day, that's okay. Just do one the next day. But my plan is to do a bunch of shorts throughout the month of April. So if you don't normally see that part on YouTube or don't really look at that, I would love it if you would specifically look for the shorts that I'm going to share. I just thought it'd be fun. I have done this before, I think on my homeschool channel. I don't know if I've ever done it here. I don't think so. And I just think it'll be fun. So look for that. Now, can we get on to the April TBR? I think so. I think I covered everything else that I need. What am I going to be reading in April? First, I just want to mention I will still be reading Anna Karenina. My goal is to get to page 450 by the end of the month, so that I'm halfway through, so that I can read the second half in April. So far, I think I'm on pace to do that. Should be no problem. I should be able to get to 450 by the end of March, and then finish this at the end of April. Once again, I am sharing some thoughts as I go over on Fable. You're welcome to join the club and either read along with me or just see what myself and other people that are reading it are thinking. I've been surprised at how easy it is to read, as much as I don't like a lot of the situations that are going on. I feel like there will be some redemption in the end. So that's one of my reads. That's my classic tome that I'll be reading in April. Then April is the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. And for April's prompt, I chose the word flowers. So it could be some kind of flower name in the title, the word flower in the title, flowers on the cover, maybe someone in it has something to do with flowers or gardening, or I kept it very vague this year, which is great. But I'm also finding this year harder than ever to pick a specific book that I want to read. And what I am doing this month and kind of have been doing the other months is just seeing if I read a book that fits, making sure that I'm reading a book that fits. But like last month I had picked a book and then I ended up switching it out and not reading the book I picked and then putting a different book that I read as the book for that prompt. So I know of at least 3 books that are on this list that are potentials that have flowers on the cover. I'm not going to share them right now. I'm going to talk about them as I come to them. I think that makes more sense. Next up is my Lucy Maud Montgomery book, which I forgot to grab, so I quickly grabbed it. In April, we will be reading Anne of Windy Poplars. I was just thinking this week, I do not know which of the books in this edition is my favorite. I just find all the covers so beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of wind, but I feel like this portrays wind very well. And I love the warmth of the lighting in pretty much all of Ellie McKay's art. So in this one, Anne is done college and she is beginning a new job as the principal of the high school in the dreaming town of Summerside. And this is, oh no, I was remembering it was all told in letters. It is not. But there are quite a few letters, I thought. I thought there was more than there is, now that I'm flipping through. Okay, that's interesting. In my mind, it was all told in letters. And it hasn't been that many years since I read it last. But Anne is boarding at Windy Poplars with a few older ladies and sharing her adventures. Like always, it's always so much fun. So this is the Lucy Maud Montgomery book for this month. Thanks to all who have been joining in on this read along. My apologies for not doing a live in March for Anne of the Island. I still might. We'll see. And every month I pick someone on my Patreon to be my kindred spirit for the month, and they get to pick a book for me to read. And April's kindred spirit has chosen Earthbound. This is by Katie Stein, I think is how you say it. And I don't really know much. It's a fantasy / science fiction story, I think. According to Goodreads, it says, every oath holds power. In a land where the earth spawns terrible beasts capable of moving through all but stone, the sky bestows power to those bound by oaths. As earthbound creatures invade, bringing with them chaos and whispers of a coming war, protector and overseer Taran fights to keep his people safe. After losing his best friend to the beasts and with the stability of the rain deteriorating, he heads to the capital to plead for support from the Order of the Sky. This is an ebook that I have, and I don't remember when I got it or how I got it. Was it just a free one, or I don't remember. So I'm very curious to finally read it. I think I've had it for, oh, it only came out in September of this last year. So it's not that old. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm excited to read it. I'm going to attempt to read the first sentence, which reminds me I didn't read it for Anne. Okay, here's the first sentence for Earthbound. Tell me again why we are out here before the break of dawn. So, I'm not sure. Curious. It's a good start. Let's quickly rewind and read the first sentence of Anne of Windy Poplars. So I was going to read the first sentence of this, but it's kind of spoilery, so we're not going to. That does happen with books in a series very frequently, so pretend I never mentioned it. Okay, so I've got Anna Karenina, I've got Anne of Windy Poplars, I've got Earthbound, the Booktubers book club that I'm a part of. The prompt is found family, and I really struggle with some of these kinds of prompts where I don't necessarily know if a book is going to have something in it like found family. I can guess with some, especially middle grade books, it's pretty likely, but I don't have any that I want to read this month that I know have found family. So I'm going to see if I come across it throughout the month, and if I do, try to mention that. But if you guys have some really good found family recommendations that you think I'll enjoy, let me know. I do have a classic that I really want to read this month. I wanted to read it last year and it just didn't happen. So this year I'm definitely reading The Enchanted April because I didn't have time in April of last year, and then April was over and it's like, well, I have to read that one in April. It just seems like that's what needs to happen. Could you read a book called The Enchanted April not in April? So this one has flowers on it, the cover that I have. Let's find chapter 1. I actually don't know anything about The Enchanted April, so let's quickly look the description up. I am looking up the description on my computer on Goodreads instead of reading it on my e-reader, just because I find that easier. So this says, a recipe for happiness, 4 women, 1 medieval Italian castle, plenty of wisteria, and solitude as needed. Interesting. The women at the center of The Enchanted April are alike only in their dissatisfaction with their everyday lives. They find each other and the castle of their dreams through a classified ad in a London newspaper one rainy February afternoon. Okay, I had no idea about any of this. The ladies expect a pleasant holiday, but they don't anticipate that the month they spend in Portofino will reintroduce them to their true natures and reacquaint them with joy. Now, if the same transformation can be worked on their husbands and lovers, the enchantment will be complete. Okay, I had no idea what this was about. Interesting. Sentence 1 says, it began in a women's club in London on a February afternoon, an uncomfortable club and a miserable afternoon, when Mrs. Wilkins, who had come from Hampstead to shop and had lunched at her club, took up the Times from the table in the smoking room and, running her listless eye down the agony column, saw this. That is a full sentence and it's not ending. To those who appreciate wisteria and sunshine. Okay, that's the end of like the first official sentence. Which kind of just tells us what we just read. I'm looking forward to it. I think it will be a good April read. And then my next read that I have to read in April is a nonfiction. It's Adventuring Together by Greta Eskridge, and the subtitle is How to Create Connections and Make Lasting Memories with Your Kids. And this is a nonfiction book that I read when it first came out a couple of years ago, and I am hosting a book club for it, so I want to reread it. It's really all about getting out and doing fun things with your kids, which sounds like something that I would love to do, especially going into warmer weather, hopefully. It's always nice to get out, and not all of her stuff is like you have to be outside, but it's always easier to get out of the house even when the roads are good. Let's see, what's the first sentence of this? Okay, this came out in 2020. That's kind of ironic, adventuring together in a year where we're not allowed to leave the house. I have followed Greta Eskridge on Instagram on my homeschool account for, I'm trying to think here, like 8 years, maybe, something like that. I really enjoy her stuff. The first sentence says, I was 16 years old when my dad asked me to go to India with him. Yeah, that's a powerful one. So that is all for my have to reads for the month. Now, what I've decided to do for April is I have decided that I am going to be reading ebooks, which works out really well. Like, I think I only have 2 physical books on my list. My kindred spirit chose an ebook for me, and The Enchanted April I have the ebook, and Adventuring Together I have the ebook. And so I'm just gonna lean into ebook reading, doing a little combination of using both my Kindle and my Kobo. So I'm going to start with the Kindle because I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription until the 20th-ish of April. So in that time, I want to quickly get a few Kindle Unlimited books read that I want to read before it runs out. The first one is I want to finish the Emma M. Lyon series. I'm currently reading volume 6. I think I'll probably finish this in March, but then April I have volume 7 and volume 8 to read. I have talked about the series in almost every single wrap-up since January. I've just been loving the books. You guys know if you've watched any of my other videos, so I won't say much, but it's journal entries from this young woman in the 1800s. It's a fictitious story, and it's just really good. Love her sense of humor, and everything about her. So I really want to finish those. A couple other books that I probably have too many from Kindle Unlimited. I probably won't be able to read them all. I have A Proper Dragon. I heard about this one somewhere. I don't remember where. This has the same picture on the cover as another book that I want to read as well, except they've added a dragon into this one. The other one is a Pride and Prejudice something or other. I can't remember if it's a retelling or if it's a continuation. A Proper Dragon has some fantasy elements, and I don't know if it's set in like Regency era. I don't know the year it's set. It says, if Phoebe's magic doesn't behave, London will be a disaster. Phoebe Hart is one of the dragon-linked, those chosen by a young dragon as a companion who get magic in return. Her family and country neighbors have never been happy about her abilities, so she hopes to find her place in London. But neither her dragon nor her magic behaves as she would wish, and London is full of pitfalls. Runaway girls in need of saving, anti-magic Luddites threatening the dragon-linked, and the handsome but chilly Viscount Westing, who continually catches Phoebe off guard. Can she navigate London's cutthroat ballrooms and drawing rooms to have a triumphant season and unmask a dangerous enemy in the process? So this is like a historical fantasy. It sounds kind of cozy. It reminds me a little bit of Emma M. Lyon, you know, with dragons, and maybe a little bit of Christina Bear's series that I'm blanking on, Wormwood Abbey. It sounds like a mashup here. So that sounds really fun. The first sentence says, Phoebe's magic always misbehaved, and if she couldn't tame it, London would be a disaster. That's pretty much exactly what the first sentence of this said. So that one's on my list. I have Once I Knew by Victoria Lynn, and this is the first book in a series. So I mean, if I like it, I'd like to read, I think there's, what, 2 out right now? No, there's 3. Okay, probably not gonna read the entire series right now. This one is, it says, Violet lives her quiet little life in her sleepy village, trying to remain as dead to the politics that are threatening the world as possible. She follows the rules, stays out of trouble, and does her best to remain out of sight of the dreaded and overbearing Kingsman. With the new regent on the throne, the country has been thrown into a turmoil. Unlike the kindly king before him, the new ruler is overbearing, frightening, and tyrannical in his rule. Taxes are bleeding, okay, whatever. When Violet stumbles upon an unconscious and injured Kingsman in the woods, despite the consequences, she cannot help but take care of the injured man. When he wakes up and has no memory of who he is, she takes the only precaution that will keep her and her grandmother safe. She destroys the evidence of his past life. Oh, interesting. I have recently found out that I really like the whole amnesia trope in books, so that might be cool. The chapter 1 is called The Body in the Woods, which, I mean, I think I know whose body it is, but that is a great chapter title. Dirt under her fingernails, the gentle breeze in her hair, and the sound of the wind rustling through the leaves like a soft hand, stroking the fabric of the earth, soothed her senses. It all culminated into one of the most comforting feelings in the world. She's got very pretty writing. So yeah, there's gonna be way too many books on this list, you guys, but I'm just telling you what I've got. I also have Winter King, which I was told was a really good end of winter to summer transition book, which, I mean, that's kind of what it is out here now. It's winter, and it was spring, and now it's winter, and then hopefully it'll be spring again. This is a village trapped in winter, a tyrannical god, and a girl who will do anything to keep her family alive. I started this book years ago. When did it come out? 2019. Probably in like 2020, but that was my season where I wasn't into fantasy yet, so everything's so much more confusing then. But I'm excited about it now. It says, the temple stood empty at the edge of the village, encircled by a crown of aspens. Okay, we'll see where that one goes. What's next? Ooh, I have Of Flame and Frost. This is by A.J. Skelly. Let's see if I can find it on here. I have read 2 of her books in the last 3-ish months and loved both of them. Oh, this has a different cover than the ebook that I have. I like the ebook cover better, which is what will be up. Aspen Frost has fallen from grace. Once among the upper echelons of popularity at Magic Prep Academy, a terrifying event at a party leaves a nasty rumor in its wake and thrusts her into social isolation. That sounds really cool. First sentence is hard to find. Multiple pages in. I'm getting there. Maybe. Eventually. Nope. Okay. Aspen. Shadows lengthened in the darkening night, dancing and writhing with the bodies on the island. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of good books. I don't know how I'm gonna pick. Oh, okay, one of the ones that I would like to get to is maybe the second book in the Storm and Spire series. I will be going live on Charlene's channel later today to talk about book 1. But there's 5 books in the series, so I don't know if I want to like dive into that series now, read more than just one book, or wait till the next time I get a Kindle Unlimited subscription. I'm not 100% sure. So I won't say more about that one because I'll be talking about it tonight. And then the last one is a book by J. Fisher. Is it 2 J's? Yes, J. Fisher. Regency and Regicide. I really enjoyed her Caller, I don't remember how to say it, series. I haven't finished the 3rd book yet. But this is, it says, Regicide at 4, Supper strictly at 8. When young aspiring novelist Miss Diana Crewe falls asleep on her manuscript in early 19th century England, the last thing she expects is to wake up in the middle of the world she's created. Oh, interesting. Okay. So she's getting pulled into a world that she wrote. That can be interesting when that's done well. The funny thing is, as I'm like going through these books, you know, at the beginning they have blurbs by other authors. Almost all of these have been blurbed by Morgan Bussey, which is a good sign. Let's see, first sentence. Miss Diana Crewe had always had a bad habit of falling asleep at the wrong times and in the wrong places, but she had never expected that, in the end, it would almost cost her life. It would almost cost her life. Yeah, that's a really good first sentence. I like that. The threat of like, why? What's going to happen? And it has really good ratings. A lot of these have really good ratings. To my knowledge, those are my like priority Kindle books, which I'm not going to get to all of them, but that's what I've got. Now for books on my Kobo, I have a bunch of ARCs and books that have been sent to me that I'm excited about. I am on the Enclave Publishing Street team, so I get some of their books, which I'm excited about because I always love them. I'm now on the Quill and Flame Street team, and I have really enjoyed their books that I have read. AJ Skelly, a lot of her books are published with them, so that's what a lot of these are, but then there's some other ones thrown in there. The first one on my list is The Betrayal of Eden. So this is a book by Erin Phillips. That's right. I've been meaning to read one of her books for a while. I follow her on Instagram. She does Instagram really well. She has a fantastical Esther retelling that I'd like to read. Haven't got to yet. I actually think it might be on Kindle Unlimited, but I don't know if I can add more to that list right now. So this one is going to be published in May. It says, before she can rise above them all, she must first fall. I'm on the precipice of a cliff, one light breeze away from falling off. At 16, Eden sees nothing but a bright future ahead of her. With a valuable promotion on the horizon, she's granted a coveted spot as a debutante alongside her wealthy friend, Fallon, an important step in escaping the sordid South bout and securing a future with her beau, Miles, the son of a powerful representative. But the happily ever after of Eden's fairy tale rise will be more dangerous than she realizes. Okay, we'll stop there. Let's see what the first sentence is. I forgot that this one is also on my Kindle. Should we do prologue? No, I like to skip the prologue because it's different. Often they're so different than the book. Chapter 1. I should turn around and leave. Okay. Interesting. So that is that one. Really excited to read one of her books. Then I have Calculated by Nova McBee. This is one of those books that I've been wanting to read ever since it came out in 2021. I kind of heard it circling around, and I've heard more about it in the last few months. So I really want to read it. This is set in Shanghai and Seattle, calculated as a gritty modern-day blend of The Count of Monte Cristo and Mission Impossible. Yes. Oh, did it end up on my list for March? It might have. In 17-year-old Joe Rivers' complicated world of numbers, there's no such thing as a coincidence. When she's betrayed by someone she loves, kidnapped by the world's most wanted smuggler, and forced to use her talent to shore up a criminal empire, Joe deems her gift a curse until she meets Red. Yeah, so sounds very much like something that I would enjoy. Chapter 1 says, "My dad is going to kill me." Also, I really like those like overly dramatic first sentences because it's like, her dad's probably not really gonna kill her, but my question is, why? Why is he gonna kill you? Like, what did you do? And if I want that intrigue to pull me in. And then I have a Luminary. I think this also was on my list last month because this one has to do with I heard it's somehow a little bit of a little princess retelling or spin or something, and that's all that I need to know for me to read it. And the first sentence says, "Birthfest doldrums were a real affliction." So I'm like, this is a birthday party pity party? Definitely I've had those before. I remember some birthdays singing the song "It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want to" myself, so I get that. Next, War Safe is one that I'm really excited about. This is by Lauren Smith, and I really like Enclave's fantasy books. They're really good at that, but I get really excited whenever they publish a science fiction book because I enjoyed science fiction long before I enjoyed fantasy, but I had a hard time finding science fiction that wasn't just like too weird and stuff, and I feel like theirs has been really good. It says there's one building on her island that Hallie has never visited. Oh, that makes more sense. On Goodreads, it missed the word visited. The Mercenary House. Perched atop a mountain surrounded by unnaturally evergreen foliage, the house is rumored to be a breeding ground for criminals. Mercenaries are liars, cheats, spies, and maybe, depending on who you ask, killers. Yes, I think this was on my list last month too. I don't know. This is why I thought I would just try to stick to ebooks this month, because I find if I stick to one format, I'm better at reading them. I have a hard time switching between ebooks and physical books. This is my new revelation. So because I've done a decent amount of cleaning out my physical TBR in the last few months, this next month, I wanted to focus on the ebooks. So the first sentence said, "I'd seen her name at the bottom of the list that morning." Okay, can't wait to read it. So many great ones. Oh, and then I also have Rogue Secreto. I knew I was gonna have troubles trying to say this one. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is the newest one that will be coming from Victoria McCombs. I think, although she's currently, Rune is kind of just coming out right now. She's a writing machine, this lady. I think she's got 4 books coming out this year, which is great. So she wrote Mortal Queens, Lethal Kings, Rune. Oh, I've loved all of those by her. This will be her one coming out in May. It says, Marcella has a unique ability to steal secrets with one glance. She keeps her identity hidden while going under the name Rogue Secreto. Yeah, still don't really know how to say that. The Emperor hires her to read secrets of his enemies, all without realizing this masked figure who can bring empires to heel is his beloved daughter. Ooh. He lures enemies to his doorstep by promising Marcella's hand in marriage, while the rogue Secreto, it's just making me say this all the time, uncovers their secrets. But Marcella has another secret, a boy she's found, trapped behind a wall of water deep within the forgotten ruins. Ooh, interesting. I'll stop there. I will find the first sentence. Oh, I probably didn't put these all on my March TBR. The reason they're sounding familiar is because they're on my anticipated releases. That makes sense. Okay, there's all sorts of goodies in before this, maps and things. Footsteps shouldn't echo in a crowded room. Nice. I like that. Like, you know, it's his daughter secretly. That'll be fun. Then we've got Keeper of the Light by Kira. I can't remember her last name. We'll see what it says. Kira Jacobs. Oh, this is one of the ones where the synopsis is really tiny. Her name is Naomi Smith. At least that's what she tells everyone. Her father demanded the name change when she fled her childhood home 11 years ago to escape the hand of Calamity, a god of death. Since then, she has lived alone in the city of Lagar, a city protected by enchanted gargoyles. She has kept her identity hidden because she trusts her father, and she doesn't know why she must live a lie. Interesting. So this is, I think, going to be a series. It says it's book 1. Chapter 1 says, Lagar's skyline had once been a silhouette of cathedrals and stone towers. I'm assuming it's not anymore, but I would really like to live where I had a skyline of cathedrals and dark towers. Dark towers are a little ominous. Just towers in general. Sunny towers, maybe? Then we've got Ember Gold by Rochelle Nielsen. She wrote The Sky of Seven Colors. Actually, I have a physical copy of this one. Do I know where right now, though? No, it's somewhere in here. Oh, right, this is the one where I don't know if her name is Gild or Gildy. Gilde. Whatever. I'll just alternate. Gild has spent her life isolated in the wild marshlands, a place too wet for the dragon to go. She's safe there, according to her father. So why is he asking her to leave with him now that she's come of age? There is more to Gildy's family than she knows, and debts need to be paid. It's interesting, 2 books in a row where they're like trusting their fathers, but are their fathers really telling the truth? That's a good question. The first time I saw the dragon, I was 8 years old. Right, okay, sounds good. And then we've got A Terrible Nasty Business. Oh, Keeper of the Light had flowers on it, so that's an option for me for the Read Your Bookshelf challenge. And A Terribly Nasty Business also has flowers on it. This one is book 2 in a series. The first one was kind of like Pride and Prejudice-esque. I don't know why I say that. What was it called? A Most Agreeable Murder was book 1. It was Regency locked room with some like slightly strange bits to it. So I'm curious to see how book 2 goes. Our main character, her name is Beatrice Steele, and she's really into murders and mysteries and stuff. So I won't really read the description because I don't know if it'll have any spoilers. But let's look at chapter 1. First sentence. In the northwest corner of London was a neighborhood called Sweetbriar, known for its theater, its pleasure garden, and an unfortunate infestation of flying squirrels. Yeah, I don't know, that sounds kind of like on par with it. So yeah, I've got that one and 2 more left. As part of the Quill and Flame Street Team, the first book I chose to read is called Rem, R-E-M, and this is because it's supposed to be a YA thriller, and I really enjoy thrillers, and so does my daughter, but they're so hard to find ones that are like good and clean, without crossing certain lines at least. And I thought Quill and Flame would probably have a book that would fit. So we've got Gwendolyn Gonzalez would do anything for her best friend, even allow herself to be dragged through Macy's dreams by a British coffeeaholic? Anyway, who claims to be Macy's dream guardian. The rules of the dream are simple: blend in and don't die. When Macy's dreams take a turn for the worst, following the rules may be harder than it seems. It may end in deadly consequences. Yeah, so I'm curious about this. I'm excited to be part of the street team and read a bunch more good, clean books to recommend. I squeeze my eyes shut and count off the seconds until I reach 60. Okay, and then I've got one more. It's called And It Was September. Why did this one intrigue me? I've never read anything by this author. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about it. I don't remember what it was. I mean, the cover's cool. I love the flowers. It says, come for the 80s vibes, stay for the story. Okay. A missing necklace, a backpack full of photos, and 2 women trying to outrun their family's expectations. That's right. I think I shared this in my anticipated releases. No, I didn't, because it's not coming out till wait, it is out. Interesting. Summer 1987. When rebellious 16-year-old Audrey is forced to ride shotgun with her dad on a 6-week cross-country sales trip, she's sure her summer is ruined. But with the help of her best friend, she's determined to make the best of it. In her thread-worn backpack is a stack of black and white photos she plans to hang in diners wherever she goes, adding herself to the walls of fame. After all, she knows she's going to be famous someday. But becoming famous isn't the same as leaving a legacy. Okay. And then we can hop to the summer of 2017. 34-year-old Jasmine needs one thing to complete her almost perfect life: a baby. Facing family pressure and a ticking biological clock, getting pregnant is her primary focus. Then she stumbles upon a black and white glossy photo tacked up on a diner wall amid a field of famous faces. The girl in the photo is wearing a unique necklace Jasmine recognizes as a family heirloom, lost by her granny years before. As Jasmine sets out to find the girl in the necklace, she discovers that the best laid plans are often written in sand. Yeah, okay, I can see why I wanted to read this one. So curious to know where it's gonna go. You can buy a baby on the internet. Next sentence, I know, I checked. So this is Jasmine's chapter. That makes me a little uncomfortable. I don't think she's gonna do it, but still. That is all I have listed for the month. I definitely don't always stick to my plans for the month. There's a good chance I don't get to all of these. There's a good chance I sneak a few other ones in. I'm okay with that. I've got my like priority reads, and then it's just fun from there. But it's always fun to share the books that currently feel like I want to read. I think that's all for my TBR from what I remember. Here are a couple books that I finished in the last week. First up is Prophet by Frank Peretti. So I was reading this in my reading vlog last week, and I really realized after filming that, after reading for a week and stuff, that just focusing on one book at a time is so much better for my brain, and I read faster. And I don't know why I was trying to read from so many books, other than there were some that were not as interesting to me, so I wanted to add in some others. But then it just made the books that weren't interesting take longer. And so now what I've been doing is trying to finish all these books that I've started, and I'm just realizing I read much faster, which can be good and cannot be sometimes. Like, reading fast is not the goal. And sometimes when I read slower, I remember more. So there's like certain books I want to read slower. But it's also just more immersive to read a book quicker. So there's benefits both ways. But I finished Prophet. This was my kindred spirit for March's pick. And this is by Frank Peretti. We mostly follow a guy named John. He is a news anchor. He starts hearing voices, and his father passes away, and he kind of realizes like he has been put on this path to find the truth and share the truth. And so yeah, there is kind of this like mystery type of thing that comes up. There are a couple of young girls that have died that John's father was kind of looking into, and then they think maybe he was murdered because he was looking into this. And there's a lot of the storyline I really like. I found certain parts really choppy, like each chapter would follow different people. Like, you know, you'd have a couple pages with one person, then there's a little bit of a paragraph break, and then you have maybe like a 4-line paragraph following someone else, and then we've got a longer paragraph following someone else, and then we're like it was a lot of back and forth, and I struggled with that a bit. And then also there were certain things, like when John was starting to like hear and see things, that I found very confusing, hard to follow, but I liked a lot of the story. So I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 3.5. Definitely not my favorite by Peretti. I have some of his that I really enjoy, but I'm glad I read it. Then I read a book, what's it called? The Castle Rose by Tabitha, whatever it says up there. This was a retelling spin-off that has Beauty and the Beast vibes, and apparently Phantom of the Opera. I've never read Phantom of the Opera, so I don't know, but we follow 2 characters mainly. One has just moved to New Orleans. She is going to help at a bookstore, work at a bookstore, which is just great vibes. And the first day she sees this guy on the trolley and kind of has this connection. And then we kind of find out that that guy, because this is our other main character, so this is like present day-ish, but in 1923 he was a famous jazz piano player, or just piano player, and then he was cursed, and he has been in this weird state of not dead but not alive for 100 years. and people can't see him. This girl, Odette, I think is her name, she was the first person to be able to see him in 100 years. And so she tries to help him break this curse. I really enjoyed the story. There's a lot of good quotes about love and courage, and it's a really good found family story. I mentioned to the booktuber book club that I'm a part of that this would be a really good one for the found family prompt. I really enjoyed it. I'm thinking about putting it on my bookish wish list because I just read the ebook, because I feel like some of those quotes on like courage and love I just want to underline and own. So really enjoyed that. And then the last one is The Mythmakers by John Hendricks. This is the Remarkable Fellowship of C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. I shared an overabundance amount of flip-throughs and pages in my last video. I loved it. So it's narrated by this lion and this wizard. It's part graphic novel, part like non-fiction information. Really well done, about a little bit of backstory on each of the guys and their relationship and the Inklings and their publishing. And when I finished it, I instantly posted to Instagram and just said it was a treasure, because that is how it feels. I am making everyone in my house read this book now. Well, those that can read. I'm putting it on Jared's stack next, and then it's going to go on Reka's, and then it'll go on Ephraim's shortly after that. Highly recommend it. I really enjoyed his version of Dietrich Bonhoeffer's biography when he did The Faithful Spy. It's kind of in the same format, but this is even better, which is that possible? I'm not sure. I so hope that he continues making biographies like this. It's such a great way to do it. I was just hooked. Highly recommend that. That is all that I've finished and what I plan on reading in April. Tell me what you guys have been reading lately. What are you reading in April? If you have read any of the books that are on my list for the month and have loved them, let me know so I can bump those up. And I will be back hopefully starting April 1st for a short for every day-ish of the month. Thanks for hanging out with me.